Welcome to the Wildcast podcast, coming to you from Wildcast Studios with your hosts Adam Lund and Jeremy Boucher.
Oh, welcome back to Wildcast Studios for another episode of the Wildcast podcast, your unofficial voice for all things Moncton Wildcats. As always, I am your host, fan listeners, Adam Lund, and I am joined by your favorite co-hoster, hockey picking extraordinaire, Big Brother extraordinaire, now grocery online shopping extraordinaire, Mr. Jeremy Boucher. Your life changed last week, eh?
It's quite the. We're not going to get into details here, but
Go back and listen to last week's Stick Tap of the Week presented by Eric Murray.
Yeah.
It's quite good.
Oh, you were talking about that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about that text message that I sent you and Dobson there.
No,
Okay.
not your side adventure.
Okay. Yeah.
Dobson knows what it's about.
Yeah. So the shopping thing was quite the story. I got messages from people just telling me how much they enjoyed that.
I got a few too. Like
and,
he just found that out. I'm like,
yeah,
apparently, I don't know.
apparently living under a rock for quite some time. Had no idea. However, I did do some more groceries this week when I did actually go to the grocery store. Because I made a soup over the weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was quite impressed. It's stuffed pepper soup.
Ooh.
So if you want the recipe, hit me up because it was pretty damn good and quite easy to make as well. And it made quite a bit. Like we're still eating it, and it's been like 3 days.
Wow.
So I was quite impressed. Found it on TikTok. Obviously, that's where you get everybody.
How else? Yeah, I made a ham in the air fryer because
Yes!
I follow an air fryer lady on TikTok.
Yeah,
That's how you make
the blonde one. That she air fries everything.
Skinny fat girl, I think, or something like that is her TikTok handle.
Yeah, that's her handle. Well,
Yeah,
that's not what
yeah, no,
Adam's
no.
describing her as a
No,
person.
exactly. That's her
For
handle.
anyone
I'll see if I
scoring
can
at
find
home,
that.
and I know exactly who you're talking about, and she air fries everything.
No, the Terry Lowe. So there's another skinny fat girl something is
Yeah.
a TikTok that she did the
Okay.
same thing, but at the Terry Lowe on TikTok.
Yes,
she
yeah,
does a lot
she's
of
the one I was talking
yeah.
about too. She deep fries it. She air fries
Air
everything.
fries everything,
Crazy.
yeah.
But yeah, this stuffed pepper soup, pretty good. It was like I said, easy to make. Ground beef. You know, they go to the grocery store. There's those bags of peppers with the red and the yellow,
Yeah.
and the orange.
Yeah.
Grab a bag of those. 1 onion, 3 cloves of garlic, 2 cans of tomato sauce.
You're giving it away. They're not hitting you up.
2 cartons of beef broth, and some rice.
Yeah.
And that's literally the soup. And it's not really a soup. It's like because the rice absorbs all the liquid.
Yep.
So it's almost like a chili ish thing.
Yeah.
But it's still I call it a soup. So
Which you're allowed to. You made it.
yeah. So hit me up. So guys are interested, hit me up with the recipe. It's pretty simple. Took like half hour to prep everything, and just as Ron Popeil used to say with the Showtime rotisserie barbecue, set it and forget it.
I miss infomercials. Have you watched Love Is Blind 2? Did you get into the second season?
No.
Oh man, we binged that this weekend.
I did hear. Is it Shane?
Shane, yeah.
Shane. I've seen some spoilers where he's cracked out.
It's something. He's something. There's a lot of similarities in season 2 compared to season 1. Like if you remember Jessica and Mark, like that whole garbage that she let him on with.
Yeah.
There was the same with Shayna and Kyle. I don't want to give away too much, but I mean, Shayna was exactly the same person as Jessica was, even trying to break up another grouping. I mean, there was a few that I was generally shocked. One girl, Danielle, she just literally tried. She was so toxic. Everything he ever did, she overanalyzed it and tried to sabotage. No matter how many times they just continued to do other things. But I'm surprised you're not into that because you were the one that got me into Love Is Blind 1, and there will be a season 3.
Yeah, you know what? I was the wife watched everything, and she stays up later than I do. So
That's me.
She takes advantage of this programming.
Yeah.
She watches it without me. So by the time she's like, "Oh, I want to watch Love Is Blind." I'm like, "Oh, great, yeah, let's start." She's like, "I'm on episode 6." Like, okay, well, I'm not gonna go and backtrack here.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'll watch it sometime, and
Yeah.
I'll eventually watch it. But it's not not on my top list of things to
Top
do
list
right
of
now.
shows. Yeah. I like the concept. I think the concept's very cool.
It is.
The only concept I would like them to try is, let's be honest, the people that they show, they're good looking people, women and men. They're good looking people. I kind of would like to see it if it was the not so like the actual is love blind, like when you actually meet somebody and they're not as attractive as they could be.
Right.
If that actually would change, like a true Love is Blind.
I agree.
Type show, right? Like,
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
and they had a few people that you see, like when they show all the men and women, and you're just like, okay, they're reaching out, and then all of a sudden, the 5 they generally stay with are, the ones that are probably most compatible and have a chance to get married. But I'd actually like to see a Love is Blind with people that aren't as attractive as standards are. Everyone's attractive in their own way, but standards are. Amazing Race finishes up this weekend. We get into the Final Four.
Yeah, that's right.
Talk about the world's, and I've only been watching it for a few years since we did the show, but can you remember a worse punishment than lifting thousands of rocks to find 4 gold coins? Like, I was at the point where I'm just like, are they finally going to tell Dusty, like, it's over there? Continue with the show? Like, it just seemed, and they might have pushed him in a certain direction that we don't see, but good Lord, man. Like,
he must have been.
that was crazy. Like, I was losing it for him.
3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Because there was a timer that kept showing up on the screen. It was like last time I checked was like 2.5 hours, and they were just flipping stones. My man, there had to be at least 5,000 stones there, and you had to flip every single one of them.
Every single one.
And then they're the last team there, and all of a sudden it's like, well, you have a 1 in 5,000 chance of finding a gold coin.
That's the worst part is that after the other 4, you're just like, what I did notice is they were flipping them and flipping them back and flipping them and flipping them back.
Yeah.
Not that you'd see rocks, but when they flipped them, they were kind of wet on the bottom. So I was like, well, if you flip them and leave them, at least it's maybe a darker color.
Yeah.
You might have a better chance. But you got your 4, Raquel and Kayla, Ryan and Dusty, Kim and Penn, and who is the other? Somehow Arun and Natalie.
They're still alive.
It's an hour and a half. They're going to end up in L.A. I picked the Ken and Barbie. Early on, I picked Kim and Penn. I'm going to stick with that. I think you went with the actors, Anthony and Spencer. I think that was your original when the show started before we knew it was going to break. So
I had a good feeling about Ryan and Dusty as well. So they're still there because last week was a non-elimination. Wow, thank God.
Yeah.
But they're going to be. They've got some catching up to do this week, but they've got the body and the stamina. I guess you want to put it that way to do the catching up. So it's going to be exciting. They end at like the LA Galaxy Stadium, I think, something like that. Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. How it's like, well, are they all going to be in the same flight back to North America? They're going to have to be, right?
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing.
So it's like they're purposely.
I think they have one more thing overseas.
Yeah.
And then they all take a flight
back to
wherever, and they got to race in LA somewhere.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah,
so
it's gonna be fun.
And the big show, the big one that starts tonight, Big Brother Canada. So and by wheel, I'll make my annual random guess. I think last year I got the 3rd place, which is better. And you'll give your educated guess. So I know there is one Maritimer. Oh, just based off faces and names. You know what? Kevin Jacobs looks like he could play the game.
All right.
Kevin Jacobs.
We're gonna go with Kevin?
I'm going to find out where he's from.
Yeah, so there's 2 Maritimers on the season this year.
He's from sales engineer from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So he's got a diabolical plan to lie, trick, and pit other housing. So that seems like an excellent educated guess. I literally opened up the website and looked at their pictures, took a name, and you just saw me open it. So Kevin Jacobs is my guess.
Yeah, so a couple Maritimers.
There's 2?
Yeah, there is. So we got Marty Fournette, who is from Johnny Rocket's hometown of Petit Rocher, New Brunswick. Fun fact about Marty, he's the former assistant coach of the Campbellton Tigers of the Maritime Hockey League and the current assistant coach of the Northern Moose of AAA. So Ryan Hackett.
Yeah.
It's
nice that the show ties in together.
Yeah, he's pretty well known in the hockey community up there for sure. And his son Joey was picked by Victo a few years ago. Never played in the queue, but he actually plays now for the Moncton Vitoes.
Okay.
So that's another interesting thing. And Kyle Moore is from Halifax, originally from St. Stephen, New Brunswick. He's a podcaster.
All right.
Hey. Yeah, he runs he's the host of Life's a Wreck podcast. It's about mental health and anxiety. So those are your two Maritimers. And I think in Marty's case, they always tend to send the older people home first. So I'm hoping he finds a way to kind of wiggle around that being the first person evicted, because
43.
Yeah, he's a fraud investigator, so I think he can probably use that as and to his advantage in the game. If I were personally to pick a winner here, I'm going based on name only. I'm going with Moose Bendago. Nice set of hair, nice hair on him, and nice pretty eyes. Nice set of eyes on him, nice hair.
You know who he reminds me of?
Content creator from Toronto, I think he is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I got a good feeling with him.
You know who he reminds me of? Again, it'll tie in a little bit. Carlito, the old wrestler
Oh, yeah.
Carlito with the big hair.
Spits in the face
that
of
ate the
people
apple.
who don't think I'm cool.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that brings a, we had the poll last week, and we had the best Rushmore of theme music for us. So far, with about 2 hours left, I'm leading the poll 70 to 30%.
That's bullshit.
It's
your
I
list.
figure the Undertaker is probably what's pushed over the edge.
Yeah, the Kurt Angle one for me was just not, it's just the crowd reaction for it. It's the crowd energy with the song, and so it doesn't surprise me that you've got the lead on this one. But I think maybe next week we'll do a Mount Rushmore of songs in general, like our top 4 songs of all time.
Ooh, yeah.
Because I've got a pretty diverse selection.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah, because we're gonna need time to narrow that thing down.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of responses from the wrestling community that we thought we'd get here. I mean, Pat he's yet to give us his 4, but he enjoyed all of it. Aiden, he gave you the nod. The DX was iconic, and the Angle You Suck. He took that one. He liked the New Age Outlaws. We got a lot of Bret Hart, or a couple Bret Harts on here.
Yeah.
Aiden's top 4 were Austin, Undertaker, DX, and The Rock. Where was Hockey Hat Guy? Bret Hart, his original theme, Mr. Perfect, Demolition, and Strike Force. So kind of old. Strike Force surprised me. That one kind of surprised me. Demolition, that was a pretty decent one. And Charlotte Landry, I mean, she was pretty upset that we left Bret Hart out.
Well, it's not that we didn't leave him out. It's a great song, but it's you want to be as Canadian as possible. But the Bret Hart hype for me, just like I was hyped for Bret Hart, but every time the Stone Cold music hit, I was just I was jumping on my bed, right? It's just for me, it's all about the connection to the song, and the same thing with DX. Like the thing. We shared a story about wearing the shirts to school, and
from the WWE. Yeah,
and it's I remember wearing those shirts to school. I remember wearing my Stone Cold shirt to school. I remember wearing my DX shirt to school. Right? It's all about for me, it was all about connection. And Bret Hart was a great wrestler. The first, after my first date with Megan, the first thing I did was go back to her place and put her in a sharpshooter. Right? So, look at us now, right? We're married with a kid because all
the sharpshooter.
All I did was I said, "Hey, do you mind if I put you in a sharpshooter?" And she said, "What's a sharpshooter?"
And that was the end of it.
Yeah,
yeah.
And she thought it was a position of fortitude, a fornication. And no, I said, "No, it's a wrestling move." And she's like, "Okay, fine." So I put her in the sharpshooter, and she hurt, so it's all good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, are you still putting her in sharpshooters?
I like to sometimes.
You're picking different moves.
Yeah. My new thing now is the AA onto the bed. Onto the bed, and the sharpshooters have been, she's not often laying on her back on the kitchen floor anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So it's but she's like, "Carry me, babe, carry
Yeah.
me. Yeah, sure, okay. So I'll give her an AA on top of the bed, and
Yeah, I've given the some wrestling moves to
Yeah.
Haley, like when they're just little and you can give them wrestling moves.
Oh, yeah.
The AA,
The choke slams,
choke slam, the rock bottom.
Yeah.
So yeah, and actually I went to Canadian House or In Your House Canadian Stampede way back in July 6th of 97. So and that was right at the heart of the Austin Bret Hart hatred, so the Hart Foundation. So the main event was Bret Hart, Brian Pillman, British Bulldog, Jim Neidhart, Owen Hart against Shamrock, Goldust, Legion of Doom, Stone Cold. I mean, the Undertaker was there. Hunter Hearst Helmsley, so pre Triple H against Mankind. So and it was during the Stampede. That's where I got my Stone Cold Austin 316 shirt. I was one of the few in Calgary that was wearing an Austin 316 T-shirt. But it was one of the coolest live events. I've been to a few Raws and stuff like that, but that's the only real pay-per-view that I've been to. Have you been to a pay-per-view?
I've been to the Raw. Raw in Montreal. When
after the screw job?
No.
That would be amazing.
No. This was maybe. Oh, it was when I had my appendix taken out because I was drugged up in the hospital and bought tickets and totally forgot about it. Before Avery was born.
Oh, okay.
So 7 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Megan was pregnant. Yeah, so 7 years ago. It was May of 2005. No, 2015. Yeah, May 2015. And
just like that, you think 5 years ago was May of 2005, eh?
May 2015.
Yeah.
And it was when John Cena was doing like the whole U.S. Championship challenge all the time. And Sami Zayn challenged him, and it was his hometown.
Yeah,
it
wasn't his debut, but it
was.
Was it?
Yeah,
I remember watching that on TV.
The place went absolutely nuts. And I brought signs that said like John Cena wears socks with sandals, Moncton for WrestleMania, and I was right behind the announcers table, so like you could see my signs.
Oh, that's awesome.
So John Cena wears socks with sandals, Moncton for WrestleMania, and there was another sign I forgot, but yeah, it was and after the show, it was Vince McMahon came out and the crowd went nuts. It was like off air.
Yeah,
and because they did a thing with Pat Patterson, and just ridiculous. Raw was pretty good. Yeah, I was drugged up from my appendix, having my appendix removed, and I just decided to buy tickets to Monday Night Raw in Montreal.
Because why wouldn't you, right?
Yeah, right. So that's my
that's a pretty decent
story.
show, though.
Yeah,
yeah. I was at a few in Calgary. I think the Hardys. I think I won the tag titles, but this is way back in the 90s and early 2000s, so it's really hard to go back and remember exactly what Monday Night Raw you've seen, since considering they've been on the air since every Monday since like 94.
Yeah,
so
longest running show, isn't it?
Yeah,
Something like that?
Longest running episodic TV. So now that we're on YouTube, we're getting there for longest running.
There we go.
Only 30 years behind. So
we walking in this studio in 30 years, I'll have my crutches. My walker.
Yeah, the studio will be upstairs.
You'll need to install an elevator in this place for the time we.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. All right, let's get some news and notes.
News and notes from around the queue.
So before we get to the queue, the CHL Top Prospects game announced their coaching staff. Again, not sure what team Barbs is playing for, as that will come out closer to the game. But the celebrity coaching staff, the guys from Overdrive afternoon show on TSN 1250 in Toronto, Brian Haynes, Noodles, and O-Dog. I'm guessing by your reaction you don't watch that show.
What's the point? Like, what are they doing here?
I think wasn't
it Bobby Orr and Don Cherry?
Yeah, and they've tried to keep a celebrity type coach, and so I think this is a way, because TSN, CHL, maybe the Overdrive will talk about this game, which they'll just talk about Shane Wright from Kingston, and all the OHL players.
Are you telling me that in a couple of years we'll be able to be celebrity coaches at
I'm hoping
prospects game?
Could you imagine?
Forecheck, back check, paycheck.
4 lines rolling, pucks in deep. Let's roll.
In deep.
Yeah. I don't ever watch the show, so hopefully they kind of talk.
Never heard of it.
Oh, really?
Never heard of it.
No. It's a radio show, and it's also on actual TSN, one of the 5 networks. Pretty decent show. It's kind
I
of like...
listened to the Fan 960 in Calgary.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what I listened to.
I did. Now I don't so much anymore. Yeah, we got games rescheduled. Looks like the Wildcats are now about to play 3-3 in April to begin the year. To begin that month, the game from the February 25th will be rescheduled to April 3rd at 3 p.m. So, looking at the schedule, which will lead into my quick question here in a few minutes. In Bathurst on April 1st at 7 p.m. Home against Bathurst at 4 p.m. on the 2nd, and now April 3rd at 3 p.m. against Bathurst. So
I'm getting last season vibes right now.
yeah, that's
3-3 against Bathurst.
3-3 against Bathurst.
God.
Yeah. So Johnny Rocket, if there's a time for you to come out, we're gonna call you out right now.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a time to come to Moncton and be in studio, and
April 2nd.
April 2nd, I've told you we have a spare room.
Mm-hmm.
We will host you. We'll work with ourselves to get you tickets. We'll even host that.
We'll go fund me for the presidential suite at the Marriott Beau Séjour.
Yeah, we'll try that. We won't pay for your gas. You can pay for that yourself. But we will try our best to get you nice and comfortable at the Avenir Center for your first time, because when else are you going to get back-to-back games against the team? Although we should go up to Bathurst at some point. But yeah, I mean, that's where we're at now. The QMJHL Team of the Week was announced for Week 16. By no surprise, Joshua Waugh, 3 goals, 9 assists in the 3 games. So he's on a bit of a tear. Xavier Perrant, 4 goals, 4 assists in the 3 games. And Simon Pinard, 4 goals, 3 assists for Gatineau. The defenseman from Gatineau, Olivier Boutin, a goal and 4 assists. Nicolas Savoie, 3 goals, no assists. And Matthias Rousseau, 2 wins, 947 save percentage, and a 1.8 goals against average. So
wow,
it's not too bad for that.
Joshua Walker would look good in St. John right now, eh?
Yeah, probably
Maybe.
would.
Maybe you should avoid fighting teammates in the locker room.
Yeah,
Maybe
he seems to have figured it
suggestion.
out.
Yeah.
He seems to have figured it out. Maybe all by design. Maybe, I don't know, but it seems to.
don't fight your teammates.
Nope, seems to kind of work out for both teams.
And you
It's
won't
one
get
of those-
traded.
Yeah, it's one of those few trades that actually works out for both teams, and but how much better would they look with Joshua Waugh on that team?
Even if your reason for fighting your teammate was valid, don't fight your teammates.
PSA from Jeremy Boucher
there you go.
on the Moncton Wildcast podcast. I forgot to tell you, don't forget, follow us on Twitter, Moncton Wildcast, Instagram, Wildcast Podcast, and now TikTok. And don't forget to like and subscribe on the YouTube. I moved the quick question, playing off the games rescheduled. My question to you, sir, has the league made a small mistake in scheduling so many games in limited days to try and get that 68 in? I watched now I'm blanking on Sports Quarantine TV with Dobson and Jerry Green, and he had an excellent point. I mean, we're trying to jam these games in at the end of the month, at the end of the year. We may have more reschedules, who knows? And I'm just looking at Moncton's schedule. I'm sure this is the same for all teams, but you're going to jam all these games in to get 68 to have a 5-game first-round series, a first round and a second round. I mean, what do we got? What did we figure out? We had 10 games in 16 days in April. I mean, if you like hockey, like we do, you're going to be every second night from here on out as we get, especially this month. I mean, we got 3-4, 3-4, 3-4.
Wow.
We're playing 3 and 4s this whole month as we march to the playoffs. So, I mean,
You're risking injury here.
yeah, you're risking injury. And what kind of player are you going to get in the playoffs when these guys are playing 3 and 4, coming off what possibly could be COVID cases? I mean, this was the thing for many years in the Memorial Cup is the Q was playing a certain amount of games. The WHL was playing 75 or 76. They were playing 8 or 9 more games.
Mm-hmm.
Then a playoffs. By the time they were getting the Memorial Cup, they had 15 more games than the Q or the O, right? So did they make a mistake by trying to go with 68, or in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's when you asked me this a couple of weeks ago, I said how many games do you think will be the fitness schedule? I said 60. Just make it 60. You're literally forcing these kids to play like what we said to start the month of April from the 1st to the 16th. There's 10 games in 16 days, and if you count the entire month of April, there's what? How many games? 20, 20, 21?
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16.
So 16 games in 30 days.
Yep.
Like, come on.
And then we're going to turn right around the next week and play
Playoffs.
5 in 7 days to get the first round out.
There's going to be some upsets. Like, there's going to be teams that, the Sea Dogs, like, they're going to want to play so hard the rest of the season to move up in the standings. But what are they going to have left?
Yeah.
In the tank, right? Are they going to have, like, what will they have left in the gas tank in the first round of the playoffs if they got to play so many games in the season? They want to play as hard as they can to move up in the standings to probably get home ice, right? You're the Memorial Cup host. The last thing you want to do is not have home ice advantage in the first round. Do they even have home ice advantage in the first round right now? I don't think so.
Nope, they would go to Halifax if we go by conference standings.
There you go.
So
like this is going to be messy. This is going to be a messy end of the season. And I do think it's a huge mistake. I don't see the need to play 68. I think they could easily have just dropped it down to like a 62 or a 60 and called it a day. Right? I don't care if the other leagues play 68 games. At the end of the season, at the end of the day, your goal is the same. It's to get the Memorial Cup. Doesn't matter if you pay, it doesn't matter if you play 60 games or 62 or 68 or whatever. I think this is not good. I don't think this is very smart at all. They're going to hurt these kids. They're just going to be tired. They're going to be tired by the time the playoffs roll around, and there's going to be upsets. And if it's whether it be a St. John going out in the first round, whether it be a Bathurst going out in the first round, but a young team with, an underdog team with nothing to play for, you have to somehow think that a team like Halifax could make it all the way to the third round with a young team with, not a lot of expectations this season, but, they're still a young group. They want as much playoff experience as possible. You send this team in the playoffs with the roster they have, a young team that works hard, they could go a lot further than some people think.
Yeah, and Quebec is 15 points up on Rimouski, so they're not really fighting. Rimouski can just stay level, stay in that 6, 7, 8 spot. Charlottetown is 11 points up on Bathurst, Halifax, and St. John, who all have 48 points. So that in itself, with these limited games between those 4 teams, like if you're Moncton, you're just coasting in to try and wait one of these teams out. And, we don't, it's just, we're not sure what the rest of the schedules look like for the other teams. And I'm sure the Quebec teams have these games jammed in as well. And, it looks even worse when Bathurst and Moncton are going to go 3-3 because we had one cancellation, and we could have cancellations coming more. We don't know, but, one outbreak on a team, and that's 2 teams affected. Now you're trying to jam again, and you have to get it in because you don't want 2 teams playing at 66. And now, okay, we're going point percentage because we can't fit that game in. I mean, the WHL right now on average is at 50 games. Now, they didn't have the break after Christmas like Moncton did, especially in Alberta where COVID wasn't a thing. But, Everett, Kamloops, and Portland have all qualified for the playoffs, which when Everett did it like a week and a half ago, I was like, what? How are they averaging playoffs already? And, they're at 51. The OHL is at 47 to 50 games. So, 10 more games. Even if they got to 65 and we got to 60, you probably end up roughly the same April timeline. And it wouldn't be so bad. But, yeah, it's just you're one, especially these top teams. Yes, they have depth, but you're one injury away on a freak play, in a 3-3 or a 3-4, and yes, they've scheduled a lot of in division games, which limits travel in the
It's true.
Maritimes and the other divisions, but still, 3-3 is 3-3, and your goalies are going to get a night off. It's the players that have to keep going, and I think this is where, your idea of a taxi squad is perfect if you're going to jam all these games into the next 2 months. That's 20-some games in 40 days that they're about to play.
Yeah, and you're probably going to be able to call up some players because, within a month, probably your midget season's going to be, under 18.
Yep.
Your under 18 season is going to be done. So, these teams who have players on, the not good teams are going to get some sort of a, break there. Haven't looked at the Maritime Junior A schedule to see where they're sitting and
But they just started back up.
Yeah, like they're
For New Brunswick and PEI, right?
Yeah, so they're behind schedule themselves. So I don't know where that sits. Quebec Midget AAA, they've been going, but teams are getting cases and this and that. There's so many stoppages right now. I can't keep up with who's who and where's and where's where. Like in terms of games. So can you even do a taxi squad this at this point? And that's all I can think of.
Yeah.
Crazy. So this is so stupid, man.
Yeah, let's just be done with. Hopefully next year. And hopefully next year everything's back to normal and we don't have these jammed in games. But let's just be done with this.
Yeah, well, that's where I kind of want to. I mean, it's a little silly right now because you test positive now, and you're gonna isolate for 5 days. But if you get COVID on March 15th, you're good to go. Like like the province of New Brunswick is just dropping the isolation requirements. So scientifically, I don't understand how it makes sense.
No.
Where we just had a COVID outbreak on our team, and probably half the team spent a week in a hotel. But if this would happen in a couple weeks, they're okay.
Yeah.
Like in 2 weeks, the virus is just gonna mysteriously not, infect other people. A little foolish. But I'm with you, man. Just get this over with and give me a regular season.
regular
no
season.
pun intended.
Yeah.
Give me a regular season.
Yeah. I've got many thoughts on that, but let's keep this hockey related. Let's get to the weekly rewind of one game.
Weekly Rewind.
And we should move on from this one. No, I'm just kidding. This was one of those prototypical mid-season preseason games. The Wildcats are 19-14-4-1, 43 points, 5th in the Maritimes, 6th in the East, which gives us 7th in the East, which gives us a first-round series against Quebec if they go based on points, if all 68 games get played in. Sunday, like I said, a preseason type game. Like I said on live yesterday, I can't even be hard on this hockey club because you could tell one team hadn't seen the ice in a week and one team is hosting Memorial Cup and is practicing and playing games. And, full credit to this hockey club for coming out, showing up, and, in an undermanned game, giving the best matchup and the best fight they could in an 8-1 defeat. I mean, 7 regulars out of the lineup. How many of those we'll have back this week, we're not sure. But, I mean, we've got to see Ryan Hackett play, which, like I said last night, limited minutes. But in his limited minutes, I thought he played fairly well. Preston Lounsbury was a tough night in the faceoff circle. But, again, you're going against Connor Trenholm. You're going against Ryan Francis, Josh Lawrence. Phil Doe, it's going to be a tough night in the faceoff circle for a young kid who's played, 7-8 games in the last couple of years.
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. So, Gio was the backup. I wondered if they were going to put him in the third, but again, like I said last night or Sunday night, what advantage is it to put him in the lineup behind a very tired hockey club? And you could see it. Guys they'd get their 40-second shift in and they were done.
Yeah, that was it was really tough to watch. Like that was probably one of the tougher games to watch that we've seen in a while.
That was what a rebuild team should look like against contenders, and we didn't deal with that last year because we played the New Brunswick tournament and those teams weren't contending.
Yeah.
So we kind of got a year off, but this is that was a tough one to watch.
It really was. I didn't have any expectation of pulling out a win in that game.
Nope.
I think there's things where you can say, okay, well, this was done well. You did good here. You didn't get shut out, all right. And I think that's the one, I guess, positive if you want to pull from this game is you didn't get shut out. But yeah, there were some moments there where there was actually a few shifts where you could see, the team kind of, okay, well, maybe they're finding another gear, but then you go back down and there was goal.
Yeah.
Right. It's just I think they tried to make it a game, but every time they tried, they failed. And then next thing you know, the puck is in the back of their net.
Not any fault of Lemieux.
No.
I mean,
he didn't put up any points in this game, but you're starting to see the Max Barbashev that we brought. Like he was physical.
Yeah.
He was,
he doesn't fly by anyone.
No,
he tries to hit you.
You can see why he got his invite to the Top Prospects game.
Yeah.
I do want to give credit to the Sea Dogs because there was a part late in the game where Moncton had a 2-on-1 and Jan Kuznetsov dove along the ice to break up the pass.
Yeah.
When the score was probably 5-1 or 6-1, so I got to give him that. And in the last minute of the game when it's 7-1 and Ryan Francis is blocking a shot, this is a different St. John Sea Dogs team. You would not have seen that last year. So the Gordy Dwyer effect is in full force here in St. John.
It was also a little bit of a weird game for St. John Moncton rivalry. 1 penalty for St. John, 2 penalties for Moncton. It was kind of like we know, like St. John is like, we know what we're up against.
Mm-hmm.
So the fire wasn't there because Moncton didn't have that full squad. I'm not saying they took a night off physically against this hockey club, but it didn't have that rivalry like Halifax and Moncton now has.
Mm-hmm. At the same time, it's like there wasn't very many plays that
we didn't have the puck in the offensive zone,
right? Where there was no moment in this game where the ref blew a call and the crowd would be booing.
Yeah,
right. Like there was nothing like that. It was a well played game by both teams. It was like both teams were disciplined.
Yeah,
Moncton didn't want to take penalties because you don't want to face the St. John power play. And B, you probably had the expectation that this game wasn't going to be close, and giving St. John all these power plays, you don't want it to be worse than what the score was. And St. John's probably the same way. Like, it's just like, okay, we know that we're probably going to win this game. Let's not take it too hard on them.
Or we know what Moncton can do, and if we get into penalty trouble, that gives them chances to.
Moncton scored a power play goal, right? So you could. I think it was in terms of a disciplined game, like really well played by both teams, and there was no missed calls by the refs. There was nothing for fans to complain about.
Nope.
The kids zone had probably the most action.
If that's an every Sunday thing, I think they're onto something. That thing was full. It was funny. They did have one chance for a power play. St. John ref had his arm up, and they went 7-on-5.
And then they scored.
Or 6-on-5. Yeah, 7-on-5. 6-on-5.
Yeah, it was the McDonald goal, right?
Yeah, I believe so. So
there you go.
Yeah, like I said, it was good to see Ryan Hackett play his limited minutes. It'd be interesting to see if he stays up here, just because we don't know about Darcy and Moran.
It is just a 5 days. They're good. We're good.
We're good? All right.
We're good.
That's why I always ask. You never know with practice numbers.
Let's get him back on the ice.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get this crap over with.
Yeah, let's do that. So now we've got 3 and 4. I mean, look, we talked about a 5-game series, breaking this schedule down into 5 games. Moncton's now 0-1. We didn't have to play Bathurst, thankfully. I think with all those cases, you play those 2 teams back to back. Yeah. But we got 3 and 4 nights, 2 against Cape Breton, 1 against Halifax. Moncton has handled Cape Breton all year. This is the worst team in the league.
Don't look at the standings. That's all you got to
Yeah,
do.
don't look at the standings. But this is going to be what kind of practice are you going to be able to have with this group moving forward? Because if you got tired guys, and I'm hoping they had at least Monday, Tuesday off, maybe to rest and recover, especially coming off not playing on the ice. I mean, 4 out of 6.
When's the game? Thursday,
Friday.
So they're probably gonna. I'm assuming they practiced yesterday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
They'll practice today.
Yeah, they'll
travel today,
and then a morning skate.
Yeah, so it that's the guys that weren't in the lineup on Sunday. You're giving them, essentially 3 days to get over it. That's your more than half of your isolation recovery time. You're good. Like this should be a full lineup on Thursday.
Yeah.
With the exception of maybe Langlois, because we're not sure what's going on there, and
depending on it, like Olsen and Casey injury wise too.
Yeah. Well, that's
but COVID protocol players should all be back.
Yeah, this should be a full lineup with probably a couple exceptions.
Yeah. I mean, 6 points. You have to beat Cape Breton. We talked about it at the start of the year. This is a team that you're going to be competing with all season. Or 4-1 against them. That needs to be 6-1. It has to be. And this is, Cape Breton. I think they beat Sherbrooke, who we couldn't.
This is like their first home game since before Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, they're 3-6-1 in their last 10.
They're going to be jacked up for that.
Yeah.
Like they're going to be. So you got to take advantage of that.
Because they go to St. John tomorrow, or yesterday, sorry. Right? Or no, they go to Halifax Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yes, they went to Halifax last night. So
So they're going to be jacked up to play a home game. So, they're going to come out strong. So you got to be able to control that and hopefully get an early goal and kind of take that momentum out. And I know the sold out capacity crowd at the Center 200, because that place is going to be jam packed to watch the Cape Breton Eagles.
What do they get?
4,000 something.
Like they're at a certain number, right? They
I think I think
like
they're
Halifax is
still at
only 5,000 or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's still 50 or 75%.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So they're probably going to have, maybe if they're lucky, 2,000 people. But it's Cape Breton. You get a few beers in the crowd there, and 2,000 people could sound like 8,000, right? So, you got to get off to a good start in this game Thursday, and
they're a little bit younger. Like they moved Connor Trenholm, they moved Dawson Stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've gotten younger whereas Moncton stayed level. Cape Breton's got younger. We don't really need to talk about Halifax. We know what we're getting in Halifax. We can talk about Cape Breton, but they've gotten younger. I mean, they're coming off 2 back-to-back 6-2 losses to Rinaranda Valdor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they beat Gatineau, they beat Cape Breton, or they beat Gatineau, they beat Sherbrooke,
so
they beat Drummondville.
Right, so they can.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, this is a team in Cape Breton that they've got nothing to play for.
No,
right, they're last
Spoiler.
overall in the league right now.
Yeah.
If they want to do anything, there's the stupid Q site with their.
Yeah. I mean, great Q site.
Yeah.
Just I did mute it.
They got nothing to play for, right? They could spoil, like they could easily be spoilers
100%.
here, and these are easy for some teams 2-point games, and if they look at the standings, and you go in there and you're gonna get the sock surprised off you, and so that's the beautiful thing about junior hockey is that it doesn't matter where you are in the standings, you can compete, you can be there.
Yep.
And it's not just junior hockey. Like you want to look at the NHL, like right now, ever since Montreal hired Marty St. Louis, it's like a different team.
Yep.
Right. So you can't be looking at the standings, and
Confidence is big.
Yep. Yeah. Don't judge a book by its cover, and just go in there and play your game, and you should be okay. But you know what? We've seen it before. Moncton could go in there and get a 5-1 lead, and then one
penalty
away, and it's you're you're a couple goals, your lead's starting to go,
Yep.
and then next thing you know, it's like game's tied. Something like this happens in Cape Breton, and damn right I'm getting a message from Andrew Barrington,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I got one on Sunday actually from him. So yeah.
Your team has to learn how to keep a lead.
Yeah.
Dan McQuad's gonna get fired.
Yeah. Are they gonna put a Dufour statue out
Yeah.
in front of the Avenir Center?
We love you, man.
Yeah, we do. We enjoy it. It's a good time.
It's but that's it, man. You just can't get too comfortable, and we've seen it with this team. It's either A, they get it to a lead and they blow it in the third, or they're down and out and somehow manage to pull out a win. So let's get over those two levels of team play and just get back to
Just get into a lead and just stick with it.
Stick with it.
Yeah. Play a 60. Let's play a 60-minute because I can't remember which game it was. You asked me if they would throw away the tape. I think it was Shawinigan. I think.
Yeah. Well, this is the St. John game.
St. John game is a throw away the tape.
Yeah.
There was nothing going. You don't want any of that creeping back in. And don't look at it. I haven't been in the room, but I would be surprised if they even have the standings up in the room. There's no need to. You just show up every night, you play, and you play the opponent in front of you, and you don't worry about what the points are. Because we've beaten Shawinigan, we've beaten, and they've beaten Sherbrooke. So it's kind of an even race. So let's hopefully get 4 points out of this thing, and kind of feel good. And let's get 3 out of 4, but let's 3 in a row. But let's get to everyone's favorite part of the show. Maybe.
Eric Murray, Realtor, buy our house from him. Stick Tap of the Week.
All right. So I don't like to do this. I don't like to give it to players. But what we saw after the St. John game, Phil Daou sticking around to, take pictures with his billets and what's her name? Milan
Beaulieu.
Yeah, her son.
Nate.
Nate, that's the one. Nate. Man, that guy's full of character, and we were fortunate enough to have him on our team for a couple of years, and we've fortunate enough to have him on our show when he's in his hotel room in Belleville. And I gotta say, I was pretty disappointed there was no video tribute. Like that was the one reason I went to that game was for the Philip Daou and Thomas Couture video tribute. You couldn't even take 30 seconds out of your time to do a video of some highlights. Was a bit disappointing, but what I saw from Phil, just
sorry to cut you off. Now that I think about it, I asked you when was the last time they did it?
Yeah,
they thanked Denwaye and LaRue.
Yes, they did.
When they came back the first time.
Yes,
so there was a precedent set there.
Yes,
and
they did.
I forgot about that when I asked you when the last time they did that was.
So what I saw from Phil, after that game Sunday was, I think, worthy of a stick tap, and just for him to stick around and literally be the last Sea Dog on the ice, and it's just what a kid. He's he kind of destroyed us a little bit too, 3 assists, but. I got to give it to Phil just for that reason, because he didn't have to do that, but he took those 2 minutes just to acknowledge his billets and fan the fans. So good on you, Phil. I will do an honorable mention too. We kind of joked about it before the show here, Adam.
Yeah. These two things don't coordinate either.
No, they don't. No, not so. The poop, is it poopery?
Poopery. Yeah.
Poopery. Yeah. So. I discovered, again, I'm living under a rock because I didn't know this stuff existed. This poop-pourri that you spray in the toilet before you take a dump. Wow. Does this ever work?
Oh, you have it?
What?
You use it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought you just heard about it. I didn't know you actually used it.
No.
Oh,
I used
okay,
it.
all right.
Used it.
I thought you just heard about it.
So I tried this out,
right?
And I was a couple squirts in the old toilet bowl.
Yep.
And you finish.
Yep.
And all of a sudden your bathroom smells like
flowers,
vanilla hibiscus. Right? And it's like, That's pretty good.
It's vanilla hibiscus.
I don't know. I'm just making up a flavor.
No, I know. But I'm like,
I'm just making something up here.
no, but
Be
it
like,
legit sounds like something like it's like men's deodorant. Like, what the hell is Wolfgang? Like,
Yeah.
scents, right? Like women
what
have
is Dragon Blast?
yeah, women have like lavender and cherry blossom, and we have like Wolf Blast and
Well,
vanilla
there's an
hibiscus.
Axe body spray.
Yeah.
That's sneakers and snowboards.
What? Why do I want to smell like
I have no
sneakers?
idea. Anyways, this
moving back,
poopery, quite the creation.
Yeah.
I mean, works wonders. So if you ever, if you're known to have some, stinky dumps, this poopery, I highly recommend you go and get yourself, just a little drop. And it's like works like perfect. Makes your bathroom smell fresh.
Yeah,
Makes you smell,
fresh.
like sunshine and rainbows and skillets. Not skillets, Skittles. Taste
Yeah.
the rainbow.
Yeah.
Poopery. It took my shout out last week to Walmart.
Yeah.
Well, this is I found something that's been around for years, but I'm only discovering it now of the week.
Yeah.
The Stick Tap of the Week, sponsored by Eric Murray Real Estate with the Remax Avante team. If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the Greater Moncton or surrounding area, make sure to check him out on social media or give him a call at 506-863-8802.
That brings us to the Rosemary Lynn Wildcat of the Week, back for another year. Right now, Angelina and Nicole are both accepting new clients, and they direct bill. Give them a call at 830-1224 or go to the Instagram page, Rosemary_Lynn's_massage, and reach out, book an appointment that way. The Wildcast Player of the Week, again, I mean, it was tough in one game where they scored one goal, but the Wildcats went with LaBelle, so I'm going to go with his line mate. He's now in up to 8 games, 7 goals and 6 assists in those games. And he had a helper on the lone goal versus the Sea Dogs. That player is number 9, Brooklyn Kalmakoff, who is your Rosemary Lynn Massage Wildcat of the Week. That's going to do it for us. I mean, we got 3 and 4 this weekend as of now. Hopefully nothing moves. And like I said, 0-1 in a 5-game set, so get back into the winning ways. Get back to getting some points. And, that was a one-off. Let's get back to Wildcats hockey, and we will see you next week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Wildcast podcast. Follow us on social media at Moncton Wildcast.